You'll never know. Okay, you can say your thing about your lyrics now if you want to. Oh, by the way,
well,
look at the lovely
I wasn't
chest.
planning on doing it live. We could just do it after.
Oh, okay. It's secrets because we might actually do it. Is that what you mean?
It's possible. Maybe.
Shroomy gave me early birthday gift. This is
Pretty.
fabulous. Very cool. I should try putting D&D dice in it and see how they look. Pretty, yes.
That would look color.
It would be pretty
It would look like
fab.
treasure. It is in
Except the bottom like leaks
destroy
black fluff everywhere. So I'm not sure I can do that or that I should do that.
Oh, I have to put the announcement.
But yeah, I'm just I'm not gonna put it places where it'll get that everywhere. This is fine, I suppose. Okay. Well, howdy folks, EJ here. I am Thor, and this is my female brother, Stanley.
He didn't trick me into being renamed Stanley, but he... I did not consider the consequences.
I called you Stanley, and you were like, I'm Stanley now? And I'm like, you can be if you want to. Hi, Stanley. And she came up and shook my hand, and I was like, nice to meet you, Stanley. And she became Stanley.
No, I'm just... Okay,
you were Stanley.
Now.
She is Stanley.
Do you like my Goodwill jeans?
They have holes in it. Did you have to pay less for those?
No.
Did you have to pay more for those?
No.
They were just neutral. They thought this is fine. This is equal to a regular pair of jeans that do not have holes.
Yeah. Because it is.
Hey, Silver. Welcome.
Hi.
How's it going? I have become as arrived.
Wow.
Grammar 100. I love it. Beautiful.
So I have a thing I'm gonna do, but I need to wait until like. Well,
until people
I'll wait
get
a
here.
couple minutes.
Gotta love people getting here. I don't remember exactly where we left off. Which one do we use? Do we use the quest or broken? I don't even remember.
Quest? I don't know.
Whatever. I'm sure they're the same for the actual written part. So edgy.
I'm so broken.
So broken inside. Oh.
I will only do grammar 100. What?
It looks like we're halfway through already. Oh, never mind. the loading bar just hadn't figured out its life yet. Joobly doobity doobadaba doobity badaba ding.
Really?
We're only at page 65, and it thinks we're at the bottom of the document. There we go. Now we got more room to scroll. 92. Where exactly did we leave off?
Isn't there a way to see recently opened docs? I don't know.
But we opened them both. That's the problem.
Yeah. I think
okay,
we
read this
107
part.
Or something.
Okay.
That might be wrong.
Well, let's check it out. Oh yes, we went through that with the split personality.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe that's where we left off.
Fog.
I think that is because I don't remember this.
Oh yeah, okay. This is a new thing. Something about Mary Sue.
Look at how smart I am. Page 107. I'm so
wow,
cool.
you're so big brained.
Zuko.
That's impressive. Oh, psychological Zuko is here. It
Welcome.
has been so long. Welcome. Ow, I am being poked many times. The poking has commenced.
I had to.
You should. Since we kind of gave up on the McClare LaPointe's thing, you should just send psychological Zuko and Cactobus a hat. The top hat. They deserve it.
Be willing to. I don't have their address though. Is that creepy?
Where do you guys live?
I recall like 118. Okay, maybe. Hello, darkness.
Close. Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Okay, Ethan, do you want to do a thing?
Do a thing?
Okay, there's a thing that I want you to do.
What kind of thing?
I saw it online.
What do I do?
Okay, so...
My head is off camera. Is that important?
Here's what we're gonna do.
Okay. Should I take my phone out of my pocket? Is this going to be violent?
No, it's not violent.
Where did you go?
Okay.
What are you...
I need you to balance this on your head, okay?
Right. Kneel down?
Okay, and then you need to be like the Emperor of Psychedelic Town, kind of, with this around you.
Okay.
And then I need you to sit on this chair right here, so we're gonna move it forward a little bit. And then
I don't know what's happening. I'm right.
I want you to hold the germ sack.
Can you click the just camera button so that we're bigger?
Where is it?
Because this is visual apparently.
Where's just camera? Oh, just camera.
Yep.
Okay.
I have a germ sack and a toilet paper roll.
Okay, now like lift up your feeties, or lift up your feeties.
My feeties. This is
we're
very
see
difficult.
If you can spin.
How am I supposed to keep this balanced
Yes.
and also have my legs? Hang on. This is going to be very difficult to set up because my legs are big. Why do I have to hold this? How does this relate?
It's irrelevant.
I'm very confused.
Okay.
This is not going to work at all, is this? What am I? An idiot sandwich?
How did that
Am
feel?
I being flush? Is this what it's like to be a turd that gets flushed? Is that what I'm cosplaying as right now? Is that why this is brown?
I just did that because it's April Fool's Day. I don't want to make you do something stupid.
Oh, I forgot it was April. I forgot April Fool's Day existed. Wow. We
I
haven't
did
done
too, but-
any pranks
But
to each other yet.
people on Discord mentioned it, and I was like, what should I do to prank Ethan on the stream? And Silver said, just make him do a bunch of random things that make no sense. And I was like, okay.
Well, honestly, it was a fantastic cosplay as a turd getting flushed. I'm
was.
covered in brown, I'm spinning as I go down, and my legs hurt. I don't know if that's something that turds experience, but granted that they don't have any, probably. Well, that was fun. I hope you all enjoyed that, whatever that
That was a great prank.
Oh, someone did a thing. First time chat
Oh,
from
yeah,
someone. I'm
it's
sorry this is your first experience
Rab.
with us.
R.A.B.
probably
like Harry Potter.
The most terrifying thing they possibly
Well, I
could
don't
have
think
joined in.
it's definitely not first experience with us because he's on my Discord server.
Never mind.
So
My bad.
it might just be the first stream. I don't really know.
Well, at least they're aware of our shenanigans then.
Hello, Seb. Hello, Fandanglers. Wait, I want to read out what you called me the other day, Seb. Seb called me a scrubbalicious, cringe-tastic, plebetarian, pineappleless, egotistical craggler. Just in case
Whoa,
you...
That's my new favorite insult.
It's really good.
That was pretty crazy. Alright. Who wants to give the recap of the edgy story I wrote when I was 16 thus far?
I can. Let me just read chat quickly.
Okay.
Zuko says, apologize much for not being active as of recently. That's okay. People have
That made my
lives.
lungs
We
hurt.
understand, but we're glad to have you back. We have missed you. He says, quite much humor.
Oh, I kicked the chair. It hurt.
Don't
it hurt,
do
it hurt,
that.
It hurt my toes.
Okay, so...
Mitosis.
So, recap of the beautiful book of which we're 100 pages in.
Pages.
Because I forgot if I wanted to say 100 or 107, but whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's this medieval type world, or like fantasy medieval kind of thing. And
You look out of focus, bruh.
oh no, what will you do?
I am saddened that it is not focused. Continue.
So in this world, there's like little villages, and oh no, everything's been taken over by a big old dragon. He lives in a mountain that's definitely not the Lonely Mountain from The Hobbit, definitely different.
Lives in a mountain
And
under the sea.
everyone's like, oh, the dragon's so big and powerful, he's got all these trolls and goblins under his control, we can't ever be free from his oppression. And so there's this kid named Ian, spelled E-A-N, definitely not Ethan at all, or Evan, definitely not.
Nope,
And
for surely not.
so he lives in one of these villages called Edgetown, and he, you know, when he was a kid, his parents, like, were really abusive, or at least his dad, like, threw a knife at his face, and, like, he just had a really bad childhood, and then his parents both died. They got, like, murdered by a troll, and also his house caught on fire. It was, like, a whole thing. And so he has a lot of trauma, and now he's, like, 16, and he grew up in this village, and everyone hates him for no discernible reason, but then also, conveniently, they don't hate him whenever that's necessary for the story. And
It's
he,
a
like,
rough
he has
draft.
this weird, like, gaggle of children that like him, and he, like, gives them food, and they're like, Ian! Oh, and then one of them sounds like a man. There's a 6-year-old boy that has, like, this really deep voice that we just canonized. And then there's this girl named Ia, and she is the daughter of the wizard. He doesn't really have a name, he's just the wizard that, like, protects the village, except then he kind of stopped protecting the village because he got enchanted by
still
this
doesn't
weird...
have a name.
Yeah. He got, like, enchanted by this weird entity that made him, like, not see how poor and upset and sad everyone was, so he thought everything was great, but no, everything wasn't great. So everyone kind of hates him, and they hate Ia because her dad did a bad job of taking care of them. And they're like, oh, you witch child. And she's like, oh, I'm so hated. And so she was gonna be, like, murdered, like, these people, like, kidnapped her and were gonna murder her one time, but then Ian happened to find her in the woods, and he was like, bad, don't
Facts
do
and
it.
logic.
Here's why. And everyone was like, okay, let's not kill her. And so they walked away, and then Ia was like, oh my gosh, my hero. And then so they were like, they basically never spoke again, but then also they were like best friends and in love with each other, kind of. So then like a couple years pass or something, and oh no, Ia has gotten voted for the annual Yeet a person to the dragon to sacrifice them to keep him happy fund.
Did you even mention the dragon yet?
Yeah, he's in control. He's a big baddie.
Cool.
And so, yeah, every year the villages have to, like, yeet one person out there to get eaten by the dragon, and so they choose Ia because everyone hates her. And so she gets taken by a collection troll who's, like, gonna take her, and it takes, like, a month to get to the mountains, so they're just gonna be walking for forever. And Ian, he also, like, kills this weird demon thing that, like, was kind of Ia's mom, but also wasn't, but also that never comes back in the story, so that doesn't really matter, whatever. He's all like, oh my gosh, I gotta go save her, and so he goes after her, and he's like starving to death and being really edgy about it, but then the wizard just appears out of nowhere and is like, no, and he like blinds him and he like passes out for like 3 hours, and then when Ian comes to, he's like, why the frick did you blind me? And the wizard's like, I just didn't feel like having you save my daughter. No real reason. And the wizard is like strangely not upset at all about like his daughter being taken and also his wife being murdered. Like he's just pretty chill about everything. He's just like, yeah, I'm just here to exposit things at you.
The wizard is a plot device. He's not an actual character.
Yeah, he's not a real person. So now the wizard and Ian, they have like this weird plan to start a revolution and like make people rise up and like go after the dragon or something. I don't really know what their plan is.
That's pretty much it.
And for some reason they're not saving Ia first. They're planning on saving her later because she has about a month to get to the mountain. So she's just been like riding on the collection troll, bonding with a goblin that we've named Clataka, who has a New York accent. And they're really fun together. We kind of ship them, you know.
Ian is a Craggler too. Silver says, I have Beclipped lol. I recently purchased some manga. Oh, cool.
Ooh, that's fun.
Fancy. Also, by the way, I do remember you, and you did come to see us on stream on YouTube one time. In fact, I feel really bad about this, but hold on, that's the wrong scene. I have, on Discord, a message from you, and it's been there for like 8 months, and I just keep looking at it and go, I'll respond to that tomorrow or something, and I just like mark it as unread because I don't have the social energy to bother with typing up, because it's a really long message, and like I'm like, okay, I do want to get to it eventually, but I keep putting it off, and it's been like 8 months. I'm so sorry.
Yes.
I have not responded to you. I promise you. I meant to respond. Someday I will, but I just haven't yet.
In this lifetime.
I'm so sorry. But yeah, eventually I plan to get to it. But for now, there's just a mark of shame that 2 messages, that alert is just gonna be there for the end of time. Yeah, anyway, continue.
Yeah, so Ian is like learning magic from Mr. Wizard Boy. Oh, he also learned that his abusive dad who threw a knife at his face was like a wizard named like Balderdash or like Radagast or something weird like that.
Yeah, something dumb. Yeah.
And like there's this weird plot device that's like a dragon heartstone that like, I don't know, like if you use it you can like have unlimited power, but if you touch it you like die or something. I don't really remember.
Close enough.
Anyway, so his dad has like this weird little box where like,
oh no, don't worry about it. It's no pressure. It's just I wanted to get to it, and like it was a message that deserved a response, but the amount of effort and time it would take to write the essay of a response that I need to give takes time and effort, and you know, I don't like doing schoolwork anymore, so I procrastinate writing essays as long as I can, and if there's no deadline, well, the deadline never comes. So yeah, sorry.
So Ian's dad left him this weird little box where you can like unlock it, and it is this magical storage room. Oh boy! And for some reason there's a fairy in there. We don't really know why. Oh yeah, the wizard like kind of cursed the dragon with his like magical heartstone thing, and like the dragon accidentally stuck it to his hand, and it's like slowly sapping out his life force. So that's happening, and the dragon's like getting old, and he's like, oh no, I'm old, even though I'm young and angsty. And then
a much more detailed summary than I expected.
Well, because I keep thinking of things, and I'm like, what? And I think the last thing that really happened with Ian and everyone is like they're trying to recruit the trolls.
Yeah,
to help
for some
them.
reason, like the trolls came and attacked the village and like kidnapped some people to consume. And then Ian's like, wait, let's not hurt them. Let's convince them to join us because, you know, they'll be helpful for our revolution against the dragon. And everyone else is like, bruh, the troll's IQ is like at least in the negatives. I'm not sure you understand what you're asking us to do here.
Life force from the hand? Is that where their heart is? What? It's a different dragon heartstone that was enchanted by the wizard, that the dragon melted some gold, got his foot stuck in it, and then the heartstone got stuck to the thing like the Thanos gauntlet, and now he's like carrying around this stone, and if he baps people, they die on the spot. This is a weird story.
It is a very weird story.
I've explained hopefully everything that's relevant. Yeah. I don't really know.
It is a rough draft. It has never had any like fine-tooth comb go through and do any kind of changes to it, and it desperately needs some of that because continuity and stuff. But yeah, what has me missing? I was getting food out to thaw. Well, you missed the entire summary of the story so far.
It's fine. You can just be lost.
The TLDR is edgy story. Main character is Ian. Ian is somewhat Mary Sue, but also very edgy and emotionally traumatized.
Oh yeah, every time we even mention a female, he just goes, "Oh, I hate it! Disgusting! They're from the devil!" That's what he does. Yeah, and also the wizard exposits too much, just goes on rants about information that he may or may not maybe should have, and is just kind of annoying. Ia is Ian's girlfriend, possibly. Kind of. They haven't really established that. Yeah, they're just like,
but she only has one more scene with Clyde Parker. And they're only going to be there for like 5 minutes now, so that's sad for the rest of the story, I think.
Thanos gauntlet situation, I understand, I think.
Yes, and then the dragon is the bad guy.
He's a childish dragon.
It's like Smog. It's basically just Smog, but he's got a magic hand now, I guess. Anyway, that's basically where we are in the story.
Yeah.
So, anything else we need to catch up with? Oh, I meant in the last 2 minutes. No.
I don't remember what was said in the last 2 minutes.
Not really.
TBH.
And don't feel bad, don't worry. It's entirely my bad for being an introvert that can't handle social interactions properly.
I do that too.
Yep. Okay, so fog? The wizard asked, impressed. Not quite what we were aiming for, but I'm still impressed, he praised. Ian sighed in exhaustion. I need to remember my voices.
Actually, that is what I meant to do, Ian explained, smiling at his handiwork. The area immediately around the procession was blanketed in a thin fog, which still allowed,
First draft.
a reasonable line of sight, but was thick enough to not let the sun freeze the trolls. The entire procession was now looking around confusedly at the fog, which had quickly sprung into existence out of nowhere. A light fog seemed easier than making a huge cloud cover, but was equally as functional, Ian continued. The wizard smiled. You like my edgy voice?
He's so edgy. Amazing! See, I told you that your dad was Rabadash! The wizard laughed. The people walking ahead of the trolls began murmuring in fear, wondering if they were about to be attacked by some misty monster. Ian, do you think you could raise this fog up so we can still see clearly? The wizard asked. This is literally just making a cloud cover like the original thought was. Ian sighed, shaking his head. Oh, come on! Push your limits! Hasn't he already, like, almost knocked himself out with too much magic usage?
Literally chill.
Okay.
Already have, Ian puffed. Sorry. No more for today, he refused. The wizard sighed and flicked his staff.
Doing magic that's useful. Doing magic that's fun.
Instantly, the fog raised up about 20 feet. So you could do it, you just chose not to. You freaking... Okay.
Wow.
Leaving the area beneath shaded, but clear. Ian nodded in approval as the people looked up in wonder.
Don't worry, just me keeping the trolls from becoming statues, the wizard called, reassuring the people of their safety. Sighs of relief were heard shortly before... before a voice cried out loudly. At first I thought that said, before a woke cried out. I was like, why am I blind?
Who should this be?
I freaking don't know.
There is a home at last.
Champagne, no.
Oh, finally. Ian sighed happily, stopping to lower the sleeping Zay. I forgot about Zay.
I don't know who that is. Is that the man-child?
While Ian tried to wake him, the wizard walked ahead, beating up with Narble.
No, let me sleep. Hey, what's your plan? Narble asked as a voice in the village cried that the group had returned and that everyone should wake up and come out to welcome them home.
The group has returned! Everyone should come up and
the hive mind.
Wake up and
the hive mind has returned.
I'm sorry.
I'm not sure. As soon as the first person in the village sees the trolls, things might get ugly, the wizard replied. You think we should have Ian escort the trolls around the village so they won't be seen? Why are they bringing them to the village at all? That's just
I really don't know.
The thumps of the ground are gonna freak people out. I don't know. Ask Ian what to do. He's got a good hold on how the people react to things like that, Narble advised. You both are old men. You know how people work better than this freaking traumatized, socially inept 16-year-old. But okay. I think I know what he say, the wizard replied as Ian caught up to them.
What did you two decide to do? Ian asked.
We were about to ask your opinion, Narble replied.
Oh, well, as tired as we all are, I think now is a perfect opportunity to go ahead and begin our proposal, Ian replied. You're gonna propose?
It's
but
the middle...
Ian's not here.
Oh, yeah, I forgot sunrise, right?
I don't remember.
It's not. It just not hit me what you said. Every time EJ writes something that doesn't make sense and probably shouldn't be in the story at all, it's a rough draft, guys. Completely understandable, EJ. It's the one-on-one side. One-on-one. I can't read today. I shouldn't be reading. It's the one-on-one conversations in the DMs that are really exhausting for me too. Psychological Zuko says, I've been sickness all day, so I'm gonna take a nap now. Oh, bye, Psychological Zuko.
Be better.
We miss you.
Yeah.
I miss you. Bye. Ian, the PR expert.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, where were we? I forgot. What did you choose?
What? No.
What? No? The wizard asked in surprise.
I know we haven't planned that much, but I'm sure we can figure it out if we just trust that we can do it if we work together.
What is this? Is this My Little Pony now?
Yep. The edgy boy is the optimist. Let's wing it. This is the perfect time. Everyone in the village will be here. They'll be amazed by the trolls and dazzled by the gold, overjoyed that we managed to rescue some people. If we wait until another time, things would get less opportune. It's now or never.
I don't know if that's, decent logic, but okay, sure, whatever. Look before you leap, the wizard
You
quoted
told him to jump off a cliff.
That is a good point!
Shut up, wizard.
I don't think we're ready, he argued. Ian smiled. We need a script. We need a plan.
Are you sure about that?
Tulio.
We may not have planned every word we're going to say, but with the three of us, I'm sure we can do it. That feels like the exact same line that he just said.
Yep.
Just trust that the destiny of the world is for us to succeed.
You gotta believe in the heart of the cards.
Nothing can stop us. This is the prime time to move. Let's not let it slip. That wasn't me at all. That entire line wasn't me. Take over, Narble, that was you. Narble,
let's not let it slip away! Narble piped up. Ian glanced over at him.
Oh yeah, we did find out that that was his grandpa last time, and it was like
Yep.
a really weird way to find out, and it was just, okay.
Also, Narble apparently, has never been mentioned to, have any trouble with walking over rough terrain, or, in the middle of the forest, or over fallen logs, or over the rocky valley, when his foot got chopped off.
Yeah,
he only has
several
one
toes.
Foot. Yeah, that's Ian's fault.
Thanks, Grandpa, Ian responded. Sorry for chopping off your toes that one time. Putting his hands on his hips. You don't have hips.
I don't have hips.
As he faced the wizard, Narble cringed.
Don't call me that ever, Narble growled, eyes closed.
Oh, okay, sorry, Ian apologized, then returning his defiant stare to the wizard. After a pause, the wizard sighed, relenting.
All right, what's the plan? There isn't one. That's literally what the whole conversation was about. Oh boy,
so
we got Tog. We got Tog again.
He was
the chubby boy, right?
Yeah.
The chubby hobgoblin. Yeah, you did.
Okay. Oh no! Tog breathed when he saw several guards fighting their way towards him through the dense crowd, their angry eyes trained on him. Tog knew it. One of the creatures Tog had talked to had told the dragon about his scheme to eradicate Ligark, and the dragon didn't believe his claims about Ligark's treachery, which meant that the dragon was having him executed for jealous conspiracy against his messenger. Either that or Ligark had ordered the dragon's guards to kill him on behalf of the dragon. Tog let
Everyone overthinks too much.
I know. Tog let a dagger fall out of his robe sleeve, catching it and twirling it nervously. If this was going to be his end, Tog was going to be sure that Ligark died with him. He would not stop fighting until he kept his duty to the dragon and destroying the threat that Ligark posed. If the guards were after him, he needed to act immediately. Tog turned and began walking away as nonchalantly as possible, vowing that he would not be stopped until Ligark was murdered. His death would save the dragon.
This is an interesting character. This is like James Bond, but he actually is loyal to his bad guy boss.
Wow.
Hey, you! One of the guards yelled at. That's just Narwhal's voice, isn't it? Hey, you! One of the guards yelled as they fought their way towards him. Tog pretended not to hear, speeding his hobgoblin waddle. Stop! Someone stop Tag! Stop him! The guards continued to yell, but not.
But we're playing tag. You're not supposed to.
Huh?
But we're playing tag. You're not supposed to stop me. You're just supposed to,
The guards continued to yell, but Tog was already out of the chamber and going down the hall. Unfortunately, Tog found more guards in this corridor, speeding towards him with raised weapons. Tog turned on his heel and began running the other direction as fast as he possibly could. By order of the dragon, we order you to stop! The guards commanded loudly. I don't know why they sound constipated. Tog puffed as he rushed down the hall, wishing he weren't so uncoordinated. The hobgoblin guards were slowed by their cumbersome heavy armor, but they continued chasing.
Oh, he's squeaking. Oh, help! Tog squeaked as he noted the guards' rapid approach. He knew he couldn't outrun them, so I have to what's his voice? So I have to outsmart them by becoming a mastermind, like Ligark said, Tog thought determinedly. One way or another, this ends tonight, Ligark. I'm coming for you, and I'm not letting anything stand in my way, Tog cried in his mind. He then dived into the midst of the traffic that constantly bustled through the mountain. He slid under a large log that was being moved across the passage, then pushed one of the goblins that carried it, causing him to fall and drop his end of the log. The other goblins dropped the log as well due to this, and the log hit the ground and began rolling. The guards crashed into it, struggling to climb over it as Tog continued running.
That's a log, my one weakness.
He flew past two other guards that apparently hadn't been notified of the order to capture Tog, and then rushed into the chamber they were posted outside of. He encountered a chamber filled with barrels and barrels of wine, loaded on hundreds and hundreds of carts. Tog took one look around and grinned.
Tog, are you okay? You're gonna kill so many people.
What a perfect diversion, he thought.
Oh no.
Dashing over to one of the carts and cutting the ropes that held it in place and that held the barrels atop it. He then proceeded to do the same thing to the next cart and the next. Within seconds, loose carts and barrels were rolling all about the chamber, splintering wood and letting wine leak all over the floor. Then Tog tipped over one of the braziers that lit the room, dumping the flaming pieces of wood into the enormous puddle of wine.
Oh no.
The room burst into flames just as the guards from outside the room came in to investigate the noise, accompanied by the four guards that had been chasing him in the hallway. They were horrified by the flames, and they immediately went to work trying to quench and control the fire. Tog justified this destruction of the dragon's wine. The dragon drinks wine? Okay.
Sure. He does now. Drunk dragon.
By insisting that it was a necessary loss in order to save the dragon and the mountain by stopping Ligark. Do you want to read?
Sure. Tog left the guards to deal with the catastrophe, knowing that it would buy him all the time he needed to reach Ligark and kill him. He grabbed a nearby broom and used it to spread the puddle of flames as he walked out of the other exit to the chamber, thereby creating a trail of flames behind him that would lead any other guards to the wine room. And people aren't going to notice you with a flaming paintbrush. Sure. Tog looked around, saw no one, then began running towards Ligark's chambers, still spreading the flaming puddle behind him. But as he turned back into another empty corridor, Tog suddenly heard the sound of doom approaching. He froze, dropped the flaming broom, and turned slowly to find the dragon himself waiting there, metal foot an inch above his head, ready to squash him.
No, please, my liege, Tog sputtered, falling to his knees. You don't understand. My every effort has been to help you. Ligark is evil. He's the one who...
Save your breath, worm, the dragon growled, making Tog whimper in fear, bowing his head. Now, tell me what you did to me and how to reverse it before I rip your head off and eat you.
What I did to you, sir? Tog asked, looking up in confusion.
Flick. Alright, well, back to frickin' boring
I
Ian.
wanted to see him assassinate Ligark.
Me too, honestly.
That would be funny.
We're just gonna keep doing this for a long time. Okay. I tried. I'm sorry.
Me? I just wanted to see how much breath I had.
Nice.
I nom and watch Friends. Hello.
Cool.
Hello.
We are your friends. Oh, you meant the show.
Oh, Silver says, and I'm lagging.
Oh,
I have to catch up
no.
on another day. Happy streaming, guys. Thank
Alright.
you for coming
Bye,
and
Silver.
watching the epic prank.
Epic prank. Okay. You go. Should we switch chairs? I feel very tall. I'm like out of frame. We don't have to. I can just sag with terrible posture.
Well, I do that anyway. Me can go for longer. She loves me more.
Is that how it works?
Yeah, whoever has more breath support loves Ruby more.
I have breath support, just not here.
I want waffle fries. Anyway, reveal the trolls when I say. Ian told the wizard, who had magically conjured a large curtain that served to hide the trolls.
A curtain?
A curtain?
A curtain.
Okay, rather theatrical. Concealed the trolls from the people for a moment. Yalok had instructed all of the other trolls to be as silent as possible until he called for them. The hastily made plans seemed as safe as they could make it. Dawn had broken, and the sky was now very bright, though the thin fog still hovered above the village, drawing many a curious stare. Everyone in the village was awake, and everyone was awake.
Everyone.
And gathered at the edge of the village, where the group had arrived. There was much rejoicing and celebration for the return of the successful rescue mission, but among the joyful welcomes back home, there was also sadness for those who had been unfortunate enough not to have been alive by the time the rescue party had arrived.
Yeah,
that was a weird way
that's
to word
why
that.
I'm saying it's a bad idea to do this immediately. There's gonna be people who are like, they killed my family just now?
I know,
like, is
but
no one gonna...
forgive them. They're gonna work with us.
They freaking ate my family!
But they're fine.
Like,
okay?
an hour ago.
But I spoke to them.
How?
And the wizard conjured meat not for you, but for them.
I'm hungry!
Too bad.
I would have eaten my family if...
You would have eaten your family?
That came out wrong.
Maybe it's
I
good
was
that they
that
got
desperate for
taken.
meat. Okay. Well, anyway. Very well. Here I go. You'll take over when I run out of words, right? The wizard asked uncertainly.
Word limit.
It's a common thing with spells.
Please do not, your family. Of course. Narble or I will catch you if you fall, Ian responded. The wizard grinned nervously.
Trust. Sorry, it's just, usually I plan out every word I'm going to say and I practice it beforehand. I'm not as good at improvising speeches, the wizard explained. You go on speeches all the time. You're gonna tell me you have every one of these things planned? Okay.
I ain't buying that. Bubba Rooney.
Whatever.
Go on. The people listen to you. You're the leader. They have enough respect
Do
for
they?
you to deal.
I thought they all hate
I
him.
thought they did too. To deal with you for however long it takes you to get your point across. Just relax and you'll do well, Ian encouraged. The wizard sighed and nodded. You know, Ian, you could really use this opportunity to throw a knife at his face and be like, you must
Trust me.
Trust.
Wow.
The wizard sighed and nodded, then climbing up onto the roof of the house closest to the large cloth.
Attention! Actually, that's too militaristic. It should be more like, attention! The wizard called, resulting in every head, every single one. Not a single soul remains who did not turn their head in the direction of the guy on the roof. The wizard took a deep breath as silence blanketed the entire congregation. Oh boy. Then he spoke loudly and clearly from the housetop upon which he stood, staff in hand. Yesterday, during the troll raid, we lost 9 men, 7 women, and 6 children. Our rescue party arrived too late to save them. Those of you who knew the people that are now gone may wonder why such a misfortune would have to happen to them or their families. Frick, this is a rough draft, everyone, sorry. They did not ask for death. They did not deserve death, but it came for them just the same. I feel like this is going in a preachy direction. This is the way things have always been under the dragon's rule. We do what the dragon wants, and in return, he and his creatures eat us one by one. We pay the dragon our taxes in return for a momentary elongation of our lives. We are forced to give the dragon most of what little food we can manage to get, and then many of us starve to death. We are ordered to be loyal, and the moment a whisper of rebellion slips out, the dragon punishes everyone with more harsh laws. So we must remember in these times that even though things can be hard under the dragon's rule, such is the nature of the difficulty of life. What was that phrase even intended to... Okay. We must remember to be thankful for the dragon's thoughtful protection of our rights to death and torture. How thoughtful. Sorry, what?
Frick?
I don't know what's happening. I'm just reading the script. I don't know what's happening.
Sherry says, take a deep breath, mind your blood pressure.
Oh boy. We must remember to always rejoice as we see the dragon's forces defend us from any invasion of happiness or plenty that might otherwise ravage our lands, the wizard continued. At this point, murmurs began to break out among the crowd due to the wizard's confusing words, which were sarcastic, though were being said as though they were genuine truths. Okay, good to know. Thanks for the stage directions that are after what I said. We must remember that we need obey the dragon always, because he is bigger and stronger than any one of us, and none of us could ever defeat him alone. We had best worship the dragon as a deity, because he is clearly such a kind and responsible leader. We must continue to subject ourselves to his rightful wise authority, since he has done such a superb job of thwarting any attempts of prosperity to penetrate his kingdom. We must remember to praise the dragon daily and continue to live under his rule, because it is clear that if the world continues on the path it is currently on, every one of us will survive with joyful appreciation of the great wealth. This is such a long... Why are you doing this, wizard? I'm so tired.
He was terrible at speaking, and then he goes in this 50-page rant.
Like, he is illustrating the opposite of his point, and it's just not... It doesn't make any sense. Just say what you mean. Don't be stupid for this long. This extended metaphor needs to die. Anyway, thwarting a blah blah blah. Because it is clear that if the world continues on the path it is currently, every one of us will survive with joyful appreciation of the great wealth they will pass on to their children. We must not even consider the thought of banding together, joining with other forces to create an army that would actually be able to remove the dragon from these lands forever, because we can clearly survive so much more of this pleasant, benevolent dictatorship. This is not tyranny. The dragon is amazing and wonderful. Don't you all agree with everything I just said? The wizard asked. The wizards looked back and forth at each other, unsure whether they were supposed to respond, and if the dragon would come eat them if they said no.
Ew. Hello, Isla.
Great, now you get to go on another rant in Narble's voice. I'm gonna die.
He says, "I as a kind
Welcome,
dragon, unlike Beanie Baby Cabbage Patch." Precisely.
What is Beanie Baby Cabbage Patch? Is there a dragon in that? Huh?
Come on, you know the meme.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I've never read this.
Cucumber Benadryl. I mean Benadryl cucumber.
I see. I, for one, definitely do not, Narble called, walking out of the crowd and coming up to the curtain, where he was clearly visible by all. He held a large, heavy sack, which he dropped as he turned to face the crowd. Face it, all of you. Do you agree that we're in trouble? Do you agree that every one of us is a slave, captured and abused in so many ways? Do you agree that do you agree that you don't want life to be this hard for you and your children?
So no one told you life was gonna be this way.
Ow. When they came to live here after you? Do you agree that the dragon has done nothing to answer our continual pleas for help, and that he knows full well that our villagers are starving? Do you agree that he's horrid and cruel, unfit to rule? Do you agree that he's an evil tyrant that does not respect the needs of his kingdom at all? Do you agree? Why does he keep saying this? Is why I'm just in pain.
I wish that the entire crowd would just leave.
Yeah, they should all go home.
Nobody's listening.
Do you agree that we will all be dead if this keeps up? He's become such a old cowboy. He was he was a Scottish gobber. Then he became a what's the other thing? He became a pirate for a bit. Now he's... I don't know why I can't keep a consistent voice. I'm sorry. I need a visual aid to be able to keep a consistent voice. Anyway. Where did I leave off? Oh, okay. Do you agree that we will all be dead if this keeps up? There's a way out of this doomed life, but only one. The world is caught up in a downward spiraling trap. Perhaps it is already too late for the... Now that I've said the word cowboy, he's becoming more western, more southern or whatever. Oh, I need to die. Perhaps it is already too late for the world to recover. But even if there is still hope, it definitely won't get any better unless we work together. We need to give the world a chance of getting better by turning against the dragon, Narvel instructed. After a moment of stunned silence, he reached down and opened the sack he had dropped, letting a river of gold coins spill out onto the ground. The village people gasped as Narvel grabbed a handful of coins and held them up, continuing to speak. This wealth arose from resisting the dragon and his forces, Narvel announced, letting it trickle through his fingers. The villagers seemed unsure if it was real, so they did not dare approach to begin picking up the coins Narvel was scattering around his feet. Narvel then reached in his pocket and turned to the key of Ian's little golden chest, opening the portable room. As the glowing golden door appears, the people backed away in wonder, crying out in amazement. Then Narvel opened the door wide with a flourish, revealing the room inside was piled all the way to the ceiling with an incredible amount of golden riches and jeweled trinkets. The people gasped at the sight, inching forth to see farther into the room and catch a glimpse of more of the room's interior. Imagine what's behind that curtain, the people laughed quietly as Narvel continued to speak.
The people, they just all say that.
All of them, yes, the hive mind. They don't have any individuality or logic.
Nope.
And for some reason they're all still listening to this strange man just say opposite things back and forth.
Yeah. Island says, I don't believe I've been introduced to this one yet. Is it still the time travel one?
Nope.
Nope, this is one he wrote when he was 16. It's fantasy with dragons and trolls and boys.
And boys.
Yes. Basic premise, there's a big bad dragon that's ruling the land, and people are trying to be all revolutionary and stuff. And there's a guy named
It's the Hunger Games, but in D&D.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
So Ian's girlfriend got taken. She's gonna be eaten by the dragon. He's like, oh no, gotta start a revolution to save her life. Tee-hee-hee. So, yes, he says tee-hee-hee.
So no one told you life was gonna be this way. Tee-hee-hee.
That was months ago, actually. I don't think Mini EJ had the brain cells to continue one novel for that long. Well, he did like 300 pages the last one, but you're right, we finished that one a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
A river of gold coins.
I want that! Gotta love Dravis.
You said that in the Hobbit video, when it was like showing the inside of Erebor, you were like, I want that. Maybe I'm a dwarf.
That's funny. Okay. All we did was resist a small band of trolls, and we recovered all the gold that had ever been robbed from our village, Narvel cried happily.
Happily?
Just think of the ultimate splendor and riches that would come from defeating the dragon himself, once and for all. It would be a new earth, roads paved with the dragon's personal gold. We would be changing the world forever. At these words, the people overcame their amazement, pulling back in shock at the suggestion of trying to defeat the dragon, even though the wizard just went on an entire rant about that. But, alright. Oh, is this the hive man speaking? Is this just multiple people? Are you nuts? You old codger! No one can defeat the dragon! Everyone who has tried is dead, and I don't intend to join them! An angry man shouted after several stunned moments of murmuring, shifting, and whispering nervously. Is this the same guy? Oh. Age has turned both of you mad! Show me one other person that thinks it's a possible dream! The man challenged. Mutters of agreement rang through the crowd as Ian took a deep breath. Ian stood on the roof of another house. Okay, nobody does them, yeah, okay. Only this one was behind the crowd and across the street from the wizard. Yallock hid behind this house, ready for Ian's signal. Oh my gosh, what are you doing? They're already not quite on your side. What are you gonna convince him with a troll?
Oh jeez.
Oh, you freaking, okay. Here you go.
Freaking.
Ian's voice.
Okay. This can be done, and it will, if we can work together.
Everyone looks over at confusion as a troll rips the roof off a house.
Ian cried confidently. The crowd turned in surprise at hearing the sudden new voice behind them.
Because no one was looking around. Nobody looked around.
Nobody did.
Mm-hmm.
Against the bright foggy sky behind him, Ian ran along the housetop and leaped onto a house that was more next to the crowd.
What?
So that the sun was not directly behind him.
Bro, why?
Who is speaking? Oh, the man again.
Oh, the same guy? Oh, the wild man! Well, you seem to pick up the most hated people to support your crazy cause, wizard! The man taunted. We're not going to listen to your puppet! The whole thing was his idea, the wizard retorted coldly. Listen to him, he ordered. Why should we even bother to resist the dragon now that we have all this gold? This is enough to feed our entire village for more than 3 years, the same man cried.
Same man?
Same man?
Okay, I need a voice.
You do need a voice.
I do.
Just do the deepest voice you can.
No. It isn't. Argued one of the men that had accompanied the attack on the trolls. It isn't enough to buy anything. Like Ian told us at the Troll Valley, gold is only worth as much as it can buy. There
Ian is
isn't
the source
enough
of knowledge.
food in the land to be bought with any amount of gold. This gold is as worthless to us as dirt. We shouldn't care less about the gold. What we need to worry about is fixing our land by defeating the dragon. I'm a believer in this quest now.
Thank you for that last line.
Crossing his arms, the people remained silent for only long enough to comprehend his words before they began yelling angrily.
Angry yelling!
The wizard quickly yelled a deafening order for
Silence!
which had its desired effect. Ian spoke again after the crowd quieted down. I know this sounds crazy. Does that remind me of?
Myrtle Turtles rating with a party of 8.
Oh,
hey,
hello.
welcome. How's it going?
To Edgy Storyland.
Yes, we are reading a dumb story that I wrote when I was 16. It's a rough draft. It needs some work, but, you know, things are happening. It's basically the Hunger Games, but in medieval times. So
yeah.
There's some old people that are trying to and the main character who's boring, trying to convince a town of villagers to resist the evil dragon who's in charge of everything.
Yeah.
And apparently they have some trolls that were working for the dragon that are now on their side. And it's definitely going to go well considering these trolls just ate some of the people. I don't know how this is going to go, but we'll see.
Turtle raid because my internet is heck. Oh, that is rip.
Sorry to hear internet is heck. That is unfortunate.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, check's own internet.
I know it sounds crazy, but it makes sense if you think about it. Ian existed.
Makes sense if you don't think about it.
Look around. We have nearly 200 people in our small village alone, and in other villages there are even more. But there are hundreds of settlements across this land. Imagine what could happen if every member of the human race decided to band together and resist the dragon. A strong army would uprise, a force of thousands.
Tens of thousands.
Oh, there's a woman.
But they would all just get, barbecued at once, because whatever.
But we would need millions to successfully storm the dragon's mountain and kill him.
Would you?
And even then, no one would be left alive afterwards, which defeats the purpose of having a battle in the first place.
One of the women yelled indignantly. I assume this is
How
Ian.
does she make this calculation that you need millions? And also,
I don't know.
how do you even have 1 million people attack one target at any one time? Like, how does that work? Plus, he can fly. I don't understand exactly.
Well, maybe Ian will give her some facts and logic.
Oh, facts and logic. Here we go.
We won't need millions. For like the 5th time I've said this, if we are able to work
Oh
together
boy, friendship is
and
magic.
utilize the forces that we have, I think we have more than enough strength available to us to overthrow the dragon. But that's assuming we can convince you and other people to join our cause. If you refuse to join us,
Well,
we
I'll
are
die.
going to force you to help, but you would be shirking your duty as living creatures of this world.
You're part of this
in my
world.
opinion. But if you joined us, we would be almost certain to be able to convince others in other villages.
Oh, rough draft!
And then they could help us convince others, and they could convince still more until we had a legion of strong people willing to do whatever necessary to end the dragon's continual abuse and torture once and for all. I don't know which man that is.
What do you mean we wouldn't need millions? One of the men argued. Remember that it isn't just the dragon that needs to be defeated. He has imps and goblins and hobgoblins, trolls, demons, flying monsters of every sort. His voice is altered already. There is no way that we can take on the goblin army and win, even with every human in the land. And that isn't even including the dragon or the rebels' forces. Oh, somebody
What?
else. Cried someone else.
Oh, someone whose father had been taken.
Just someone.
Yeah, any attempt to fight the dragon is useless. We can't even defend ourselves from trolls.
Cried someone whose father had been taken by the trolls and not returned. Oh, I think you're wrong there. Ian laughed with a mysterious smile on his face. Just last night, we accomplished something far better than defending ourselves from the trolls.
Arguable.
Ian lectured, beginning to pace along the edge of the housetop.
Super
The
villain.
people remained absolutely silent, staring at the overconfident Ian with a mixture of emotions. He just gets eaten by one of the trolls.
Oh my god, it just ruins everything.
How would you all respond if we told you that the trolls now, instead of fighting against us, are willing to fight alongside us in a fierce attempt to defeat the dragon? Ian asked. The people were confused, suspicious, and spellbound all at once. Several quiet conversations broke out among the people before one was brave enough to speak.
He's crazy, right? When do we throw a knife at his face? Oh, this is a 14-year-old boy. I
He
think
should sound even edgier because he's 14. This is deep.
Oh wow, okay. Do you want to do the edgier voice, or should I?
What does an edgy boy sound like?
I don't know.
I'm gonna make him sound like Draco Malfoy. Did the wizard enchant them all? A 14-year-old boy asked. No, neither the wizard nor anyone else has hurt or changed these trolls in any way. I just had the idea of being kind to them.
Oh wow, a novel concept, but also why?
And after talking with them, we found that their race is as much enslaved, starving creatures as we are. But I will let their leader speak for himself, Ian concluded, motioning to Yalok as one man cried out loudly.
You mean those horrible creatures can talk?
Their leader can, and please try not to insult them. The trolls are our new friends and allies, and they won't hurt us. Let's try not to break that alliance by provoking anger. Ian pleaded as Yalok slowly stood up, his large body rising powerfully to the sky. The crowd grew deathly silent. The big ugly troll head and body came into view, towering over the house upon which Ian stood. Ian could tell that the people were about to scream and run for weapons. All of them were! So he was glad when Yalok spoke.
Hello, my name is Yalok. Neither I nor my people mean you harm
Sounds like an ant.
anymore. Yep. He reassured them. Most of them still remained frozen with fear. Yalok noticed this distrust and looked to Ian for instruction.
Oh, come now.
Oh, this is the wizard, maybe?
Wait.
No, it's in Ian. Never mind, sorry.
Oh, come now. Those of you who were with us on the way back here know that the trolls aren't our enemies anymore. Say hello or something, Ian encouraged with a smile. The people seemed to be getting more and more uncomfortable, so Yalok spoke again. The wizard seemed to have sense enough not to reveal the rest of the trolls and frighten the people further.
I can see that you mistrust me, and you have a right to do so. I do not expect you to immediately believe everything I say, but I hope that in time we can gain your trust. We really are not the brutish monsters that you obviously think. You have eaten their people. I think we are. You kinda are? We may live in caves and have bodies too big and clumsy to let us create and invent things. As other races do.
Does it say that?
It says thins instead of things.
We can't invent wheat thins. It's so sad.
I know, I just want my wheat thins. But that does not mean we are incapable of living happy lives. We honestly did
Nobody
not
said you weren't
want
happy eating these humans.
have to raid human villages for supplies, but the dragon forced us to. He literally sent us here with nothing and ordered us to raid the villages to keep them in check and to get our food, or we would starve to death. We had no choice but to obey, or we would have died. We are sorry for the past strained relationship our races have had, but we are willing to put the past behind us and begin a new relationship with the humans at our side, rather than the other end of our spears.
Well,
You're being the bigger man, even though you
You're-
ate their
yeah.
people like
I'm
today.
glad that you're willing to put aside your
Good
strange
job,
relationship.
my dude.
Maybe you should, wait for them to be
Yeah,
ready.
just let them process their trauma first, you people. Okay.
Yeah, this man, he knows what he's saying. You can't expect us to forgive you. He's like on his deathbed.
They wheeled him out on a gurney. Just so that he could be part of the
expect us
hive mind.
to forgive
Someone
you
was
so
moving
easily.
his cart to look at the people.
One of the men sputtered, "Didn't you know it was wrong to eat our people?"
Yes, we did feel remorse. The same. I am so bored with this conversation. The same way many of you feel sorry for the animals you have to kill for food. Do not your young protest and remind you how wrong it is to kill deer or rabbits to eat? Yalak asked.
I mean, vegans don't come for me, but animals don't really have, like, conscious, like, I mean, conscious, but not, like,
sentient souls?
Yeah, like, they don't really, like, communicate in, like, words, they don't
have
like,
higher brain
clearly
functions.
trolls can, like, communicate and they have, like, brains, even though we thought they didn't, and humans are obviously advanced and communicate and have brains and everything. And so it's not quite the same comparison to be like, yeah, well, you kill chickens, as it is for trolls to be like, but we kill humans. I don't know. I mean, it just doesn't seem like quite the same, but that's just me. Okay, Deathbed Man? How dare you compare us to I keep saying the things before the characters say them. Compare us to brainless creatures. Do you see useless rabbits or deer learning and crafting elaborate homes made with iron and stone? The man returned.
Perhaps they do not do things like that because you have not let them live long enough to learn how.
We gonna see dogs making houses?
Crossing his arms. The man had no response to this retort, apparently. Just as the dragon is prematurely choking away the life of every living creature in the entire land, Yalak commented gravely. There was a pause before Yalak spoke again. We agree with your elders and this young one, he said, motioning to Ian. We feel strongly, as you humans do, about the tyranny of the dragon and are prepared to fight against him at any cost. We are also going to talk to more trolls in our area, single trolls in our area, and convince them to join us, because I am sure that they, too, disapprove of the dragon. If you fight the dragon, you will not be alone, Yalak promised in his deep, slow voice. After a moment, the people seemed slightly comforted, like 1%, maybe 0.5%, and they began to breathe again.
The entire crowd collectively began to breathe.
They all had stopped breathing, including Deathbed Man, and then they finally take a breath.
Why do you want us to help?
A villager challenged.
Let's see.
I mean, why do you want to help us? I can't read, I'm sorry.
Who is speaking?
I guess Yalak.
Okay. I think that many races are tired of the dragon, but have never had the courage to stand up to him. Now is the time to give courage to the people of the land and take back our lives, our fortunes, and our future, Yalak announced determinedly. After another thoughtful pause, he continued. A movement, I can't read, may begin small with only a few followers, but when they grow,
it becomes a cult.
They are forces to be reckoned with. Armies are not built in a day, but when they are full grown, they can move mountains. Even mountains that are filled with 1,000 discontented goblins that want more than anything to return to their homes rather than work for the dragon.
Do you think we could convince them to help us too? Ian asked Yalak urgently. The troll smiled.
I think you could have a harder time finding a group of people in this land that won't resist the dragon if asked, Yalak replied.
So what are you trying to spread your
Why are you trying to spread your views that are probably going to get you killed by the dragon before you even convince anyone else to help you? Someone else asked. Yolok sighed.
If you are in a room full of blind people, are we doing the Plato's cave thing?
Oh boy.
Or whatever. Wait, was it Plato's cave or?
Yeah.
Okay. Forgot whose cave it was.
Somebody's cave. Ian's cave.
If you if you are in a room full of blind people and you can help them, would you not want to help them see clearly the way you do, rather than let yourself become blind like them? If the entire world has a problem and you thought you had a solution, wouldn't you try to tell others about it and help them rather than let everyone die? Your elders have noticed some things that most others don't. Because they're such large brain and everyone else is stupid.
Exactly.
Which is a gift that comes with age, and also just this gifted Mary Sue child who's 16 and this is deep.
Yeah.
But they can help people only if the people are willing to cooperate a little. Your elders cannot do this alone. The trolls cannot do this alone. A movement is a group, but it starts with individuals. For this plan to work, we need you. Yalak pointed out. Captain America needs you. Silence. A long silence. A very long pause of tense contemplation. Absolute soundlessness and little activity reigned for a full 30 seconds as the villagers looked around at one another nervously, then to the wizard, Narble, Yalak, or Ian, who were also exchanging glances with one another. 30 seconds of no one speaking and everyone just looking back and forth and back and forth and back and forth at each other? Did everyone go into their idle animations? Did everyone die? And no one broke the silence.
Wow.
That's the end of the
crazy.
story. Everyone freezes in place and the world ceases to
Imagine
move.
if that's where he stopped writing. That'd
Wow.
be
I didn't know what to do. Everyone stopped. Fear permeated every particle of dust in the air, every bone in everyone's bodies, and every bit of space in the area. No one was sure what to do after that point. Okay.
So, who agrees that a revolution against the dragon is necessary? Being asked finally.
Who wants to
Another-
sign up for Dumbledore's army?
Oh boy. Another long silence. A long, long silence.
We would do this. We,
It's so
we'll
silent
skip
all
ahead.
the time.
Fast
Ian's
forward.
heart throbbed in his ears as he sighed deeply, hoping that anyone would have the courage to step out. Ian noticed many of the village folk swallowing nervously, avoiding eye contact with any of them. How could it be easier to convince trolls to join us than the humans? Well, he did say trolls are really dumb, but okay. Ian thought, then pointed to the wizard. You're telling me that the trolls are more admirable and selfless than you humans? You're telling me that these so-called horrible monsters are actually braver and more willing to sacrifice themselves and their lives for the good of all than you? That's a weird word, that.
Yep.
You're telling me that the dragon has made you his pets more so than he has his own servants? You're telling me that the courage of men has been broken forever and they are forever forsaking all things good? Ian asked.
So the courage of men fails.
Precisely. Intending to shame them into finally stepping forth.
Slap their emotions.
The wizard waved his staff and the curtain disappeared, revealing the 20 or so trolls that had been standing behind it in wait.
You were trying to convince them, now you're just gonna frighten them.
Oh boy. I love coercing people into my cause by scaring them.
We will beat you into a pulp if you do not join.
Oh no. I mean, and they kind of did the same with the trolls. Like, we're
That's true.
gonna kill you. If you
I
don't
think
join
they're
us.
actually, Ian just has some
Ian
psychological
is the real
disorders.
dragon here.
Yeah, Ian has some psychological disorders. He's not like in touch with reality, and he's kind of doing some bad stuff. He's the villain all along.
Oh,
That's the
it
real
was
story.
Agatha all along.
It was Agatha all along.
20 trolls. They all stood looking around at the group of people who were obviously still terrified by this new revealing, but were still too overcome by guilt and shame to flee. That worked to guilt them? Wow. Only the trolls agree? Ian asked again. After one more pause to answer him, he looked out at the ashamed bowed heads. Very well, very smell. He continued with a mask of unconcern over his face. How many of you disagree?
I thought it said unicorn.
Ian asked. What?
I thought it said unicorn instead of unconcerned.
Yet another pause. There was some nervous boot inspecting and neck scratching, but no one stepped forward or spoke up. Well, at least they don't have any more arguments about why not to do so, Ian thought. They're all just too afraid to be the first one to step forward and make themselves a target for the dragon's wrath. They need a leader, a strong, brave leader from whom they can draw strength and who they know they can relate to. And I won't do because I was never one of them, and they never liked me.
That is true.
Ian sighed in defeat, looking at the wizard. Was that it? Had they failed? Had all those words and glorious dreams been for naught?
We
My
need the
glorious
child.
Purpose.
We need the child with a very strong voice
We
to
do.
stand out.
Also, I just hate how nobody ever has arguments against frickin' Ian's
I
facts
know.
and logic.
Too many facts
They're
and
just
logic.
like, oh, we're so ashamed because you compared
How
us to
dare
trolls.
you?
I feel like
You answered every
nobody-
complaint we have. No
nobody
one.
in
This
this-
doesn't work in
this
real life.
world is so like sad and depressed that people would not be ashamed and like, oh no, you're guilting us into doing it. They'd be like, I don't freaking care if you're comparing me to troll. I'm gonna stay here and like live my terrible life, but at least it's better than going out and dying by the mountain. What the frick? People don't have moral codes when it gets this bad.
Yeah. Like if they're all at death's door, like the story is trying to tell us they are, then yeah, they
Yeah.
could just easily be like, you know what? I've got one foot in the grave. I'm just gonna lay down now. Goodbye. We're all going to hell. Bye bye. Oh boy. All right. But then it happened. A 12-year-old boy. Is this the deep-voiced child who Ian had been giving food, playing with, and helping out for years, lifted his head suddenly, looking right up at Ian with intensity. He was about to
wait,
speak.
no, was the 12-year-old the oldest that sounded like a baby? Because the baby
Sure.
sounded like an old man.
Sure. But no sound came out of his moving lips. He seemed reluctant and He seemed reluctant and hesitant, but determined. He took a deep breath and announced loudly with a crack in his voice.
I agree. The people next to him looked over at him quickly, seemingly with a mixture of confusion, disdain, reverence, and utter astonishment.
That's a lot of
Then,
things.
head by head, everyone turned to stare at him.
Everyone!
And some harsh whispers arising, but most people staying silent. I agree that the dragon needs to die or be driven away, never to return, he clarified boldly, standing tall and firm, head high and looking directly at Ian. Then another voice cut through the air. Oh, it's Champagne!
Oh, Champagne, oh boy.
I agree too!
Oh, my freak.
Esther cried loudly from another part of the crowd, causing everyone to whirl around.
Everyone in unison! Hold on, gotta get the gurney guy. Okay, there we go.
Uttering expressions of surprise or fear, Esther was clearly not comfortable with the attention she was getting. No, I love the attention. No, actually, don't look at me. Don't look at me. Don't give me attention.
No, I couldn't. I couldn't possibly.
And many of the people beside her were trying to get her to stop before her demonstration gave anyone else the courage to stand against the rest. But she refused to be silenced. Though her voice quavered, she began to shake slightly. If we don't act and we continue living our safe lives, we'll all be just as dead if we die fighting bravely for our freedom. Would you rather die a slow death of painful starvation or the possibility of a quick and easy death by the sword? She asked, looking around quickly before back at Ian. A child.
I'm gonna go with the... I think you all are right, another one of the children cried, standing bravely. His brother leapt up, crying that he thought so too. I think so too! Their parents then went into an uproar, and the crowd began nervously fidgeting in uncertainty. A slow smile crept across Ian's face as one of the men that had been in the rescue team stood up and shouted his concurrence. I concurrence! His wife agreed a moment later, followed by several more of the men from the rescue group. By this time, there were some villagers that were yelling at each other, threatening each other not to say they agreed or they would beat them. Oh, okay. But even yelling at each other... What? But even still, the wave had begun and it would not easily be stopped. Some were braver than others in finally admitting, but they all knew that this task needed to be done, so they continued to step forth, one by one. And those who were recalcitrant knew that there was more safety in numbers, so they reluctantly began to conform to the majority, once a great many others had agreed. No, you can't do this! It's like the tear meme guy. No, you can't do this! One of the men shouted stubbornly. Wizard, you already did this once in a different village, and nobody survived when the dragon swooped by! There is no way we'll live through tonight! Times were different then! The dragon is weaker now than he was, I am sure. Plus, the dragon will not discover what is going on here for quite a long time. Edgetown is the farthest village from the mountain, and we rarely see connection fit. We rarely see collection trolls come in to collect the taxes or news. We can convince half the land to join us before the dragon even suspects anything is wrong, the wizard retorted. But, he retorted as several more people declared their allegiance. You can't just... Whose voice is that? I forgot his voice already. Oh, it's the crying guy. You can't just come in here and ruin our good lives and mess up everything we've ever known. You aren't even a part of our village, wizard. You just came here after you destroyed a village. You're a fugitive from justice, and you're trying to repeat your crimes again.
His only crimes were against the sacred timeline. Were against the dragon's evil laws, and the dragon himself is I thought it was a werewolf.
What?
Okay, plot twist.
He defeats the village with facts and logic. Yeah, that's pretty much the summary of this scene. Such a Mary Sue.
The dragon
I was a
himself is
bad
the
writer
worst
when I was
criminal.
16, okay?
Lots of exposition and facts and logic.
I just needed to stop with the self-inserts.
True, yeah. A worse criminal than anyone alive, Ian retorted as the people agreed and slowed down as people tried to listen to the argument. Ugh.
The crying guy?
Yeah.
You be silent, worm! You've never been a part of our village either! All you are is a madman that wanders into town and abuses our kids sometime! The man spat at Ian.
No, he is as much a member of our village as you have.
What? Rough draft.
He's as much of a member of our village as you have. He always has been since he was born here, and he has never bothered a soul. All he's done is help people, and that's why what he's trying to do right now. It was literally.
I mean, he did chop off a guy's foot.
He was supposed to be really helpful.
Written in the stars.
Yeah, he's like a
Zodiac?
Libra or something. I don't know. Like, it's probably what he is. He seems
Great.
like one to me. I
Sounds
just get that
good.
kind of vibe.
I don't
from
even
him.
know what a Libra is.
That's what I am, actually.
What are you?
I mean, not me as Essa, but like the person's body who I'm possessing, she's a Libra. Whatever
I don't know what that means, but okay. It's actually surprisingly good for someone written by a 16-year-old. Thank you. I mean, thank you. I appreciate that. Honestly, I don't know how many other 16-year-old works of fiction I've read, so I don't have a point of comparison for that. Where are we? Essa cried?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I see. That's too old, sorry. Oh, I see how things are. You're a Planet Associate. They paid you enough gold to make you agree to stay in the crowd and agree to their... The man was cut off by the first boy who had spoken.
Was that the baby?
Yeah, the baby voice.
We were just as uninformed about this as you were until today. I agree with what they said right now. You would too if you would actually listen, he argued.
The child is cutting off the old man, or
Yeah.
the crying man. Wow,
Yeah.
this is totally realistic. I bet that would happen. But they have no right to order us and ruin our good lives, the man roared.
They are ordering us. Have you heard any orders? They asked us if we agreed that things were bad. We haven't even agreed to fight yet. We're just agreeing that someone needs to. Think about it. How good is the life you claim that they're messing up? The boy challenged.
The man sputtered angrily. Awful. He admitted.
So you agree. The man bowed his head in shame and anger, nodding.
Do all of you agree? Narble asked. Just about every villager nodded their head, and the few stubborn ones relented one by one, including the guy on a gurney. They shake his head for him. But apparently, there was still unrest as another voice rang out. Oh boy, who's this?
I have no idea.
Just a voice.
Yep.
Just unknown he. What? I'm gonna give him a new voice that I've never done before.
Okay.
Can we wait and do this revolution a little later? Can we postpone it for just 1 week until after the wedding we have planned for my son?
He pleaded. Where's my son?
Yes, please. Can we just have a little bit more time? My little daughter is sick and hungry. And there is no one else to care for her. If I join you right now, she will die, someone else added. Ian felt sorry for the men whose faces showed great pain.
So
I don't know why I made that man sound like a Russian grandmother, but...
It sounded like Natasha's mom.
Oh, it did a little bit.
Who is this? Ian.
Is it?
Ian.
Yeah. Do not worry, someone will take care of your daughter.
Someone.
And just because you're fighting doesn't mean that you can't help to do so as well, Ian replied to the second man. But both of you think what might happen if we put this fight off until later. 1,000,000 little children, just like his daughter, will die of starvation because the dragon takes too much of their food. The longer we wait, the more people die. I mean, what's on your agenda? You highly prioritize living your life and having every great life experience you feel you deserve, and you decide that you'd rather wait so long on defeating the dragon that we all die off before your children ever get to experience what you chose above fighting for a brighter future. Will you ever get finished with your fun and finally get down to your list of chores to the last thing on it? If we waited, do you think things would become any more opportune? Now is the time. Before things continue to get worse, we don't have a day more to waste on a night of singing and dancing. Nobody's proposing that, but okay. Which we forget in the difficult chores of the next morning. All the days that you live have expire very quickly. Please don't waste a single one of them on things that ultimately won't matter.
Wow, it's just
That was exhausting.
ham-fisted allegories and annoying preaching.
Yeah, I hate this chapter.
It's so every
long
time
and
Ian
repetitive.
or the wizard or Narvel, any of those people, these people are annoying. The Ligarch stuff, the dragon stuff, the Tog stuff, that's decent. This part, stop. Just
you know what's
stop.
a good way to start a revolution?
Not by
Doing
talking a
stuff
lot.
like what
Actions
they did
speak
with
louder
Mockingjay,
than words.
How she was
Mhm.
in front of an explosion. She said a nice, concise little speech, and they broadcasted it everywhere, and it was inspirational. But this is just talking at people for a really long time and
Yup.
trying to guilt trip them into
Yup.
fighting a dragon.
It's very annoying. I'm
oh,
sad.
Boy.
I don't know anyone who wrote a 300-page novel, at least at that age. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
that one was when I was 11, though. 11 to 13, that range. So that one was even longer. Although it was significantly worse in quality, I will say
True.
that. At least
Yeah,
this
but
one
I
has
never wrote
potential.
anything nearly that long when I was young.
Mm-hmm.
I still
Oh,
have.
goodness.
Well, I don't know how long my weird fanfiction gross thing was that
I thought you said it was like 90,000 words.
Yeah, it was, but I don't remember how many pages that was.
This is like 90,000 words, although a lot of it's
Oh.
notes at the end too.
Wowie.
Wow,
Yeah, so I wrote a lot of that, but I'm literally
Oh,
never
no.
going to read it again because it'll make me want to die a little bit.
Why
but
is
that's
it
okay.
covering? Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
That is insane that I actually wrote that though. Why? How did I have that much time? What was I doing with my life? Who was I? Sorry, I don't know anything.
I don't know. Where are we? Who are we? What are we doing? Oh yeah.
Somebody's shouting.
Particularly stubborn man. Oh yes, that's the crying one, right?
I think so.
But what if we all die fighting the dragon? How is that a better future? The particularly stubborn man shouted mournfully.
Is this Ian again?
I have no idea.
I don't see any.
Probably.
Okay. If you die fighting to save your family,
If you die in the game, you die in your life.
and you succeed in saving their lives, wouldn't your deaths have been worth it?
Bruh.
Would you be willing to live for a greater purpose than selfishly protecting yourselves and yourself only? Don't love your own life.
Wow.
Love the lives of others, your family and friends, all people. Help us secure a new hope
I'm,
for
like,
all people.
Massacring scripture.
And do not fear the enemy. Oh gosh. The worst they can do is kill you. To die is gain anyway.
What happened?
Because you no longer have to endure this living hell that we now suffer. Everyone simultaneously kills themselves. The hive mind just pulls the
Can we
trigger.
please stop with this scene?
Death
How
is...
did I enjoy writing this? I surely didn't. I was just
Oh,
trying to get through it
gosh.
as quickly as possible to get to the stuff that was actually interesting, right?
I assume
That's
so.
why it's so compact and summarized, right? Ooh, I
I-
just spit half a vanilla wafer on my
Half
arm.
a vanilla
That's pretty
wafer.
gross, I'm sorry.
Death is freedom, as a wise man once said.
Did they?
That's a direct quote from Jim Elliot. Fantasy novel.
Oh my gosh, why?
What the frickle frackle?
I don't know!
What is the Jim Elliot equivalent? Did he like go to the trolls and get eaten because he like was trying to talk to
I
them?
don't know. I don't know what was going through my 16-year-old self's brain. I'm so sorry.
But apparently Jim Elliot is canon in this universe, and he said
I don't
he is
think
no
it.
fool. who
I'm
gives up
sure
what
it
he cannot
says. I
keep
don't
to
know.
gain what he cannot lose. So don't fear. But that doesn't even make
What
sense.
what in the context of this universe would that possibly have been referring to?
Yeah, to gain what he cannot lose.
What does
is
that mean? What does that mean, though?
I don't know. It's not
Like,
like
what could
like,
that refer
heaven
to?
has never been established.
That doesn't, like, there's nothing that could refer to in this universe. I don't know what he means. That's just...
I don't know. That's really weird.
I'm 16 and this is deep. That's
questioning
the only
everything
reason.
right now.
Yep, alright.
Okay.
Moving on, the same man says,
Same man?
"You are trying to destroy everything! You are enemies of our peaceful lives!" The same man protested.
Another rant. The time of peacefully sitting and taking whatever punishment inflicted upon us is over. In order to bring about lasting peace, we must fight.
This is giving me a headache.
Same.
Stop, Ian,
We
stop.
have to
Just
come-
stop.
We have come to bring fire on the earth, and
What?
how I wish it were already alight.
What does
Ew.
this mean?
What? You're sounding like a cult now.
Uh-huh.
It now is merely kindled, but we have a baptism of all creatures to enact.
What
are
is
you
happening?
talking
What are you talking about? I don't even know what this is now.
And what constraint are we under until it is completed, and until we have the strength to show ourselves boldly?
I actually have no idea where this is coming
Do
from.
you think we came to bring peace on Earth? Okay, Jesus.
What the freaking heck is
No,
going
I tell
on?
you but division.
I'm so sorry.
From now on.
This is actually terrible.
You're actually quoting Jesus now.
Yeah, but I'm ruining it. I'm making it so much worse than what Jesus actually said. Jesus said things that were good, made sense, and, you know, were a bit divisive, but at least they weren't like, sacrifice yourselves for no reason and fighting hobgoblins. What?
This is the
What
worst.
is happening? It's a terrible, terrible metaphor. This is a
Terrible
very
metaphor.
bad analogy. It's not a good allegory or one-to-one in any way.
No.
I'm just literally vomiting words onto a page because I think it makes me look deep, and in fact, it is not actually effective or a good gospel presentation.
No.
I'm sorry.
Really bad. From now on, there will be goblin fighting goblin,
Oh my gosh!
goblin fighting hobgoblin and troll
I li-
slaying demon.
Isn't the actual verse like brother fighting brother or something?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes, hobgoblin fighting. This is so
oh,
meaningful.
No, I hate it.
I'm gonna cry.
And
If I
troll
could
slaying
backspace
demons.
this, if I still had a Microsoft account and I was able to backspace this, I would.
The dragon's forces will turn on the dragon, and together we will slay him, he said to the crowd.
Can we end this scene? Where is the end of this
When
scene?
you see a cloud rising in the west, immediately you say, it's going to rain, and it does.
Oh my gosh.
And when the south wind blows, you say, it's going to be
Ian
hot,
is
and
launching
it
a
is.
crusade. You're actually...
Hypocrites!
It literally is, though. Like, 100% that's what's happening here.
You know how to interpret the appearance of the earth and the sky. How is it that you don't know how to interpret
Please.
the present time?
Oh
Why
my
don't you
gosh.
judge for yourselves what is right? You
I
must not do
am in
what you
pain.
believe is right for keeping you safest in the
Can we
moment.
get to Clyde
You must-
Parker? It's simpler with
and
Clyde
do what
Parker.
is right, Ian insisted. We must all join in this together if we are to succeed. Oh my gosh.
That's exhausting. What's a unique voice for an unknown man? A meek man.
How can we trust you all to lead us in a way where we won't be killed while we're trying to convince
That's
more
liquor
of the
in
dragons?
disguise.
It really is, though.
He's hiding with the humans.
Convince more of the dragons, force them to come join us. How do we know that you all are just trying to get everyone in our village killed so you can assume our possessions?
The still disagreeing man asked meekly.
Who's this? One of the men.
One of the
Oh,
men.
slapping the man. Oh, jeez.
Turning and slapping the
Oh,
man?
give up on your arguing already. We know these people's characters.
One of the men said, turning and slapping the man, resulting in
Ah.
a small laugh among the people.
Okay, that's definitely the time for that. Yes, while there are trolls and just chaos happening everywhere.
You say you agree that these things must be done. Now for the harder question, Ian began, taking a deep breath. How many of you are willing to be the ones to do them? He asked. 3 seconds of silence passed, and then the same 12-year-old boy drew the sword on his belt.
He has a
lifting
sword?
it above his
Who
head.
gave the 12-year-old a sword?
I don't know.
I will fight, even if not one other will.
He cried determinedly.
Oh boy.
Ian smiled widely at the boy, who Ian recalled having the name Justice.
I see. So
Wow.
I didn't have a name for him, but then when I realized, you know what, I guess this guy's gonna have a bigger role. I guess I need to give him a name. So now he remembers that he has a name. Oh boy. First man. I don't remember this guy. I shall join you and die by your side if need be, replied the first man from the rescue mission to have spoken earlier, also drawing his sword and matching the boy's pose.
Okay. As will I.
For
Now,
Narnia.
who's with us? Ian cried out, drawing his knife and
Not
mirroring
me.
Justice's gesture. Now sufficiently encouraged, 50 or more
That's
other
a lot of
dim,
people.
rather rusty metal weapons were instantly drawn and raised to the sky, and
Okay.
almost every one of the 200 villagers lifted a great battle cry.
Including the man on his deathbed.
Which the trolls took up as well. This
Okay.
frightening, strong, defiant act of rebellion
Shattered the
caused
planet.
every living creature there
Oh
to be
no.
filled with elated, tingling excitement
Um.
at the danger and new hope of the situation.
Oh boy.
And instantly the scene buzzed with energy.
I hate this.
Ian smiled, breathing a deep sigh of relief, glad for victory and that the trolls could understand what had been said and didn't think that a battle between the trolls and humans was about to begin. Due to the two gathered groups, Ian felt giddy inside, but also very overwhelmed. Success at last, Ian thought, shaking his head in amazement. Excellent. Then let's get started right away. We haven't a moment to lose, he called
Thank
out.
goodness a chapter break. Let's go to
Finally,
something else.
freaking,
Anything else. Anything else.
Disgusting.
The immense assembly, consisting of every living creature in the mountain, jeered loudly as several trolls entered the incredibly large meeting chamber, which was just above the dragon's personal chamber in the very heart of the mountain. The trolls pulled a cart, laden with a single cage, Tog's cage. The hundreds and hundreds of benches in the chamber rumbled as the various monsters stomped their feet and yelled, buzzing. I'm imagining the scene from Geonosis.
From what?
The arena in Geonosis
Oh,
with
yeah, you're right.
Killer creatures, buzzing with excitement
Not
as
me
the
forgetting what Geonosis was called.
and the promise of an entertaining show to more momentarily divert them from their back-breaking labor. They had gathered from miles around and from every section of the underground tunnels in order to fulfill the dragon's order for their presence at the condemnation of a traitorous criminal. The cone-shaped room was packed with thousands upon thousands of goblins, trolls, demons, and other vile creatures, all craning for a glimpse of the prisoner being wheeled into the middle of the flat arena-like floor. Tog knelt in his cage, eyes closed and head hung, arms tied behind his back. He was the perfect exemplification of the hopeless defeat that enveloped so many under the dragon's rule. Several goblins then unharnessed the cage from the cart, and they unceremoniously dumped Tog's cage into the middle of the floor, then guided the trolls away again. As the large doors to the chamber slowly closed behind the trolls, the throng of spectators grew quiet, and finally became silent at the signal of another pair of great doors opening. Then, as was custom, the assembled audience all got down on their knees and bowed reverently as an unmistakable clanking sound was heard. The all too familiar sound of the dragon's iron fist, now caused by his new silver and golden gauntlet. Rumor had it that Rebecca had enchanted the dragon's hand so that it would instantly kill anyone it touched. Others claimed that some forgotten ancient god had gifted the dragon with a magic glove that gave him special powers. No one was sure, however, and no one wanted to risk their life testing the theory about touching the dragon's glove. The dragon slowly walked across the floor, approaching the cage. He surveyed the thousands of beings bowing down in worship and subjugation to him. He
And then
smiled.
there were a couple people in the crowd who didn't bow, and he
Oh
was like,
boy,
into the
it's
furnace.
Zed Radshak, Meatshak, and Abednego. Whatever. He smiled, savoring the fearful, eerie silence in the chamber, which was only broken by the low thud of the dragon's footfalls and the clank of his beautifully clad right front foot. He strode purposefully toward the terrified, immobilized Tog, who could not even move his head more than several inches. "Rise," the dragon ordered his fearful subjects. They lifted their heads and returned to their seats as quietly as possible. "I have gathered you today to witness an example of what happens to those who resist me," the dragon roared loudly to the congregation of faithful subjects. But are they faithful? The dragon wondered, scanning the silent, staring crowd. "I originally took command of them all those years ago by scaring them with my great power. I am still capable of destroying every one of them. I am the most powerful being, therefore I rule. So why did Tog have the bravery and stupidity to resist me? Did he have confidence because he convinced others to join his cause? Are there more disloyal subjects? Will destroying Tog really solve this problem, or will I merely be destroying the leader while leaving a large group of fellow followers untouched? The dragon wondered, a low growl building up in the back of his throat, where a small fire burned continually. Sorry, I just had to cool in my throat. This hobgoblin, the dragon continued, is a foolhardy, reckless, rebellious idiot who not only dared try to resist me in a multitude of ways, but tried to get others to join his cause, the dragon accused, pacing slowly around the cage, glaring at the crowd.
He's a lie! Tog shouted suddenly, causing the dragon to whirl and snarl at him, fiery eyes blazing with malice. The crowd murmured excitedly for a moment, and then the gasps died down.
Silence, unless you wish to die this very moment, the dragon roared.
Let's not pretend that you intend to let me live even if I remain silent.
Oh, he talks back. He's dead now.
Resulting in astonished chuckles and boos from the crowd.
Boo.
The dragon growled, preparing to incinerate him. If I'm going to die, at least let me tell you the truth of what has been going on and how you might rectify the situation, Tog cried, stopping the dragon in his tracks. The dragon leaned in close, urgently whispering. You smell funny.
I didn't have my lines. You mean how to reverse my unusual aging? He asked quietly so no one could hear. Okay. That, but quietly. Tog pulled back slightly, confusion flashing across his face before he managed to hide it, knowing that if he didn't tell the dragon what he wanted to hear, he would be dead instantly.
Yes, I can tell you everything about that, Tog lied, hating himself for using Ligark's evil method of survival. Tog sighed, feeling hypocritical. He was condemning Ligark, and yet he was no better. Okay. In fact, Tog had actually done more wrong than Ligark. What has he done?
He lit the wine on fire.
Okay.
Why is the rum gone?
Tog sputtered. The dragon waited, listening intently with wide eyes. Oh, I have so much to say, Your Majesty. I admit that I was wrong in doing some of the things I have done, but I never intended to resist you, or be disloyal or traitorous in any way. I promise you that in everything I did, I was trying to help you, not hurt you. You have never had a more devoted servant or a more repentant one.
That's what they all say upon being condemned to death. What proof do you have? The dragon asked, eyebrows still drooping into an angry expression. Or eyebrows dropping, sorry.
I regret to admit that I have very little definite proof, but I am confident that if Rebecca were to enchant Ligark into telling the truth, you would know who the real subversive is, Tog replied.
You're still going on about Ligark? The dragon roared angrily. Ligark, come here! The dragon roared. Moments later, Ligark skipped over from the giant arena? How? Wait, how? Ligark skipped over, as chipper as always. You called, my liege, he asked with a false smile. Ligark, perhaps you and Tog can help to explain what is going on here. Tell me everything you know, the dragon ordered.
Rab is going to bed now because it's 3 a.m. Good night.
Alright, have a good one. See you later.
Thank you for coming.
Yep, sorry, it was such a weird one. Hope to see you another time.
Freaking revolution starting in the most boring way possible.
This is a terrible chapter. I'm so sorry you had to suffer through that with us. Oh boy. Well, from what I know for sure, Tog is just jealous of my getting the job of your messenger and isn't trying. And what? Oh, Tog is just jealous of me getting the job as your messenger and isn't trying to destroy your reign as far as I know, but I've done absolutely nothing wrong for the entire time I've had this job, so all his accusations are unfounded, Ligark replied.
But you plan to do all sorts of horrible things, Tog cried.
So you admit that Ligark has done absolutely nothing wrong, but you're just insisting that he will someday? The dragon asked. Tog blinked.
Well, yes, but... Tog, stuttered.
Tog, you are nothing more than an evil, jealous, traitorous ball of slime! The dragon roared. He turned around, addressing the crowd. If any of you have been spoken to by Tog in the last week, Come down here and gather before me, he barked. Well, I'm not gonna admit to that. I don't think I want to die, thanks.
Like Harry Potter, where it's all like, if anyone has any information on Harry Potter.
Mm-hmm. You have to be a mastermind, but play the fool, Tog, Ligark whispered behind the dragon's back with a small grin. Ah, yes, I can see the good side of being a goody two-shoes sometimes. I told the dragon nothing but truths about you, and he came up with all these crimes of yours by himself, without any influence from me.
You evil little... Tog was cut off by the dragon as he turned back around.
Ligark, you may return to your seat and watch the death of your old friend who has caused you so much undeserved trouble. The dragon dismissed him
I
compassionately.
thought he was going to say trauma. So much undeserved trauma.
Ligark danced away happily with no more than a small surreptitious sneer at Tog. By this time, nearly 30 goblins and hobgoblins had gathered beside Tog's cage for some reason, outing themselves as being barbecue material, but alright. I assume there's supposed to be quotation marks around this. Now, Tog, all I want to know from you is how to reverse what you did to me, the dragon said, waiting. Tog didn't respond for a moment.
Did to you, your majesty?
You know full well what you did to me! You even admitted it not 2 minutes ago, the dragon roared angrily.
Oh, yes, that. Yes, honestly, I don't know if there's even a way to reverse it, Tog replied, still very clueless about what the dragon was talking about.
Radeka, you come here too, the dragon ordered. Radeka slowly waddled over as the dragon suspiciously eyed Todd. Todd Howard. Tog. Radeka, use your witchcraft to make Tog tell us the truth about how to reverse my enchantment. Oh, I remember Rebecca's voice was fun, but I haven't done it in so long. I don't remember what it is anymore.
He was like irritated old man.
Very well, Rebecca mumbled, pointing his staff menacingly at Tog's head and chanting a long incantation. You will tell the truth, you stupid butthole! Waffle! Waffle on your head! After a moment, Tog's eyelids drooped and he seemed to get drowsy. Now, Tog, tell us the truth about what you know.
Tell me what you know.
Exactly.
I don't know anything. Tog heard his own mouth moan of its own accord, without his consent or instruction. It was as though someone else were controlling him, and his consciousness had been overtaken by another mind, and he could merely watch in helplessness.
No, that's it then, Rebecca sighed, stepping back. He really does not know how to change you back, and frankly, neither do I. It looks as though he did whatever he did without knowing how to reverse it. Oh. Then you are of no more use to me, the dragon growled menacingly at the hypnotized Tog, who continued to stare off into space. Rebecca headed back to the stands. I'm too old for this. As the dragon whirled to address the cows.
The boars.
The board.
The boars. Who's here? Is it...
Hi, England. Welcome, Izzy. How's it going? Hope you're having a good one.
I short-circuited. Hello.
Don't do that.
Oh, am I too late? I did.
Okay. Where are we? Oh, yeah. Now, as I was saying, this hobgoblin is named Tog, the dragon shouted to the congregation, who fearfully quieted down upon hearing the fury in the dragon's voice. Many of you may know him. He was a loyal worker for the most part, until very recently when he had the boldness to begin making some bad choices. Choices that involved interfering with my operations. Choices that involved resisting me, bad-mouthing me, and going against my work in a variety of ways. And now, dear Tog will be recompensed for his choices. As we all know, the payment for tyranny is death. And I assume being eaten alive and slowly dying inside me will be a sufficiently painful and horrible fate for him. Agreed? The dragon roared with evil malice, purring with the pleasure he drew from his evil deeds. The crowd exploded in excitement, apparently, anticipating the sick, disgusting spectacle. But first, let me not forget these other creatures whom Tog talked to and tried to convince to join his cause against me. the dragon continued, motioning to the group of goblins, hobgoblins, and such, who stupidly have volunteered this information, who were nervously gathered beside Tog's cage. They began to shift nervously, perceiving that they were not in a good position. "Now, how many of you agreed to help Tog?" the dragon asked. Desperately trying to save themselves, many of them cried out loudly. "I only agreed to help him get rid of Lingark. Tog never mentioned anything about resisting you, your majesty," they yelled in many different ways, forming a cacophony of unintelligible gibberish. "Silence!" the dragon roared angrily. "I don't even care which of you are loyal and which of you aren't. Tog has talked to you, so just to be sure his views don't spread, I'll make all of you an example of what happens to anyone who even thinks of being disloyal to your one true king," the dragon cried, to which the crowd whooped and cheered in response, apparently, whistling loudly. I thought that we were supposed to be humanizing them. Are they not like, people who are sympathetic and not people who will cheer and, whoop and holler at the death and murder of people? Whatever. Okay.
I guess so.
Then the doors to the seats. The doors to the seats were shut. Whose seats have doors? What does that mean?
Probably like the doors to
and
the area
and
where
the
you
arena
sit.
was sealed off from the spectators. Okay, sure. "No, please!" several of them cried, falling on their knees and begging the dragon for mercy. "He just asked me where the bathroom was. I thought you meant I you were trying to convince me that you just said if I talked to him in the past week. Leave me alone!" "Run," the dragon ordered lowly, his tail beginning to whip back and forth in anticipation of the fun he would have in hunting down the 30 creatures. "This is what becomes of anyone who would dare oppose my sovereign rule," the dragon bellowed to the crowd, drawing out a great cheer. The dragon then looked down, finding that only about 15 of the creatures had obeyed his order in running as fast as they could towards the edge of the arena, though they knew it had been built so that there was no escape. The other half of the creatures continued to kneel at the feet of the dragon, pleadingly, tears in their terrified eyes. "I said, run!" the dragon roared at them, resulting in several more leaping to their feet and running. Several tried to hide behind Tog's cage, and one actually drew his sword as if to fight, which is obviously a little more than an amusing gesture to the crowd and the dragon. But there were still about 5 creatures that were too afraid, hopeless, tired, or old to get up and run, and they merely knelt there, waiting for their deaths. The dragon's heart filled with anger at their rebellion against his order, and he was happy to oblige their apparent plea for death. He roared in anger, his orange-red eyes narrowing in hate as he swiped his golden foot at them. There was an eerie, though almost imperceptible flash of green light as his silver and golden armor made contact with a small group of about 7 of his minions. Then all of them flew through the air and landed hard on the stone floor nearly 20 feet away, all dead. The dragon snarled, blowing a ball of flames on them to incinerate the bodies, and the fire reflecting in their lifeless eyes was the last thing their families saw of them before they were reduced to ashes. The crowd roared in excited approval as the dragon grinned darkly, then pouncing forth to begin pursuing the others. "You two by the cage!" the dragon yelled. "Yank off Tog's arms for me to help entertain the crowd. You torture him while I get the others, and I'll kill you last, deal?" the dragon asked over his shoulder as he galloped away. Oh, what a glorious day, the dragon thought happily, feeling the fire gurgle up in his throat.
Clyde Parker, I see you!
Clyde Parker! Oh boy! So yeah, that was an exciting introduction, Izzy, to this story. I don't know if you've been here for any of the previous reading, but yes, that was the dragon's perspective. Gotta love an evil dragon, overlord, who's in charge of the country. And
Shroomy says,
you're right. My throat hurts. It is quacky.
But you get to be Clyde Parker.
Yeah, I'm still overcoming just the tiniest bit of sickness, so it's kind of like messing with me. Alright, I gotta remember how to do my Clyde Parker voice. It's been a while.
Very New York, very nasally.
Very New York, very nasally. Okay.
You need a break?
Tillum asked. Clyde Parker asked. Ida sighed in exhaustion, sitting back. Her mind was reeling with all the helpful information Clyde Parker had been teaching her for the past several hours, and she had an annoying headache that probably had something to do with her head injury. Oh yeah, her head got split in half earlier.
Yeah.
She survived, though. Rivulets Rivulets of water flowed down her cold cheeks, fueled by the ever-present rain cloud above the troll, which blanketed the earth in depressing darkness. She had grown to hate rain.
Yes, please, you replied thankfully as the wounded collection troll continued to limp along slowly, nearly collapsing at every shift of weight to its injured knee. How much more do you have to tell me? She asked as Clyde Parker finally waved his staff to relieve the troll of some of its pain.
Oh, much more! Much more, actually, sorry. You could spend the rest of your life learning everything there is to know about what goes on in that mountain.
Clyde Parker laughed as the troll shuddered at the strange feeling of healing. More bars being spit. The troll's leg was now healed, but not the rest of it yet, and the troll still limped slightly at the remaining soreness.
We haven't even finished discussing the tip of the ice plug!
Clyde Parker sighed, falling back at the expenditure of energy.
Oh dear, that's very encouraging and depressing at the same time, he responded. I really hope I can report this information to those who need it before I wind up as an appetizer.
I hope so, but don't worry, even if you don't, I'm sure I can let your village know these things the next time I go that way.
You do that at the risk of losing everything.
Oh, if that's what needs to be done, yes. I mean, sure.
Clyde Parker responded seriously. He smiled at the brave hobgoblin, shaking her head.
I could kiss you right now.
Oh, please do.
Sorry.
He sighed. He backed away in disgust, narrowing his eyes. No, he didn't. Shut up.
I'm
We
gonna
ship
alter
them.
that response, yeah.
I hope you're serious. We hobgoblins find you humans pretty attractive.
Sorry, it's just you're acting braver than Ian.
Oh.
I just pretended to like him because everyone called me a witch child.
I
and
mean,
everyone
he's
kept
the only
mean
one
to
who
me.
actually, was nice at one point.
Yeah, but I think you're actually much better. I kind of like you. Just so you know.
I am a New Yorker.
Exactly.
We're known for our charm.
I know. The last time I saw him, when I was first encouraging him to resist the dragon, he hung her head. I think he probably is doing something about what I said, but I can't know for sure.
Who is he?
Clyde Parker inquired. He sighed, biting her lower lip. Didn't we already have this conversation? This sounds familiar.
I think she just avoided the question last time. I don't
Okay,
know.
fair enough.
I don't know.
You don't know.
I-
You forgot him!
my head
Yeah, your
is
head
very-
got chopped in half!
It was too intense. It took out part
Oh.
of my hippocampus. I really can't remember
Your
who he is.
hippocampus?
My hippocampus.
Your hippogriff?
My hippocampus. My hippo on the campus. Anyway.
We all have a hippo on campus.
Yeah, we do.
He used to sit on the bad
See,
kids.
that's what my psychology teacher told me, because if there's a hippo on campus, you would never forget it, and that's why the part of your brain that deals with memory is called the hippocampus.
Oh, that makes
See,
a
and
lot
I
of
haven't
sense.
forgotten, even with my brain injury, I haven't forgotten. the
That makes a lot of
hippocampus.
sense.
Anyway, I don't know. He's someone who's difficult to describe.
Caveman?
He's blonde.
Less attractive than me.
He's not normal at all.
Severely insufficient in comparison to Clyde Parker.
Well, yes, that. But he changes daily and acts strangely. He speaks without thinking sometimes, and makes large
Sounds like he's not very
fiascos out of-
stable for being a family man.
yeah, out of minuscule things. Maybe it's good that these things pulled me away from him for a bit, so I could more clearly see the problems with him.
Sounds like you're trying to talk yourself out of something. How do you feel about him?
Oh wait.
How do you feel about him?
Clyde Parker pried teasingly.
That's none of your business, Ian snapped.
Sorry.
Clyde Parker huffed, drawing back. There was a moment of silence as the troll continued walking.
No, I'm sorry. I'm just thinking. Maybe I only ever liked him because he liked me first.
I love how there's this drama here. It's the very end. We're never gonna get another scene with them before the end of what I've written.
If he does like me at all, that is. Maybe I made the whole thing up, Ia cried.
Oh, he
dissolving
never
and
said
losing her
anything. Oh, I
composure.
forgot.
She hid her
Oh.
face in her hands.
He never even came to see her because he was busy picking
True.
Stickleback or whatever.
Yes, Stickleback. Like Nickelback.
Oh no, I put my thing away! She hid her face in her hands.
Hey, yeah. I don't really know the situation, but I mean, he sounds like a moron, but I'm here for you.
Clyde Parker replied slowly after a moment. Oh hey, whoa, you almost stabbed me.
You mean you think there was some element of
That's
romance
not what I
there?
said. I altered the line. We're improving.
He must have just acted like a father towards me, the way he does with everyone. That's a little bit weird because
You're a
he's
moron.
my
With all
same
respect,
age.
you're a moron.
Ia asked, looking up, tears in her eyes. Clyde Parker nodded. Ia put her head back down. You have no idea. You're just trying to make me feel better. I don't need him. I just need you instead. That's what I've decided.
Of course. I ain't arguing with that.
I'm going to die anyway, right?
I will argue with.
I don't need to ever think about him again. He's a terrible, cowardly person anyway.
Accurate.
A hobgoblin's better than him.
Accurate
Ia
part two.
decided, setting her jaw and looking straight ahead. She took several deep breaths, trying to control the butterflies in her stomach, caused by Clyde Parker. Oh, who am I kidding? I just don't know. Maybe he doesn't even remember me and he's already found someone else, she sobbed.
You're
and
the
her
one with
name
brain
is
damage.
Champagne or something.
Oh,
She just
no.
talks like a weird valley
Oh
girl.
no. There, I'm sure he does care for you, and
Clyde Parker, just don't. You have no idea. Yeah, cut him
you
off.
are correct. I have not met him. This man could be an absolute psychopath.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, sorry. Excuse me for not wanting to have to listen.
Wait, I guess he should sound more offended, I guess? He's snapping.
Sorry, excuse me for not wanting to have to listen to you crying for the next 100 miles.
Clyde Parker snapped back. This made Ia realize that she needed to control herself, which she succeeded with after a while.
So, you really think you can convince your race to join our cause? Ia asked after several minutes.
I'll talk to the leader of my order, Rebecca. He and the dragon are very close, buddy, in fact. Proximally, I mean. They aren't really on friendly terms, but they grudgingly work together because they know they must cooperate to get things done. They just coexist because they haven't really been able to kill each other yet. I'm pretty confident that Rebecca will be more than willing to lead the rest of the hobgoblins to war against the dragon. What do you think? Wait, why am I asking you? You've never met these
Yeah, I
people.
was going to say, am I supposed to have an opinion?
You know, frankly, I don't know. I just am trying to find any way to make conversation that, was less awkward than the previous one.
Yeah, I don't really want this to be our last scene, you know?
I know! Clyde Parker's voice is so much fun to do, and now I'm not gonna be able to do it no more!
It's just like, with, Carl in that one story, how he got used for...
Who's Carl? Oh, that guy! Yeah,
and then he was just
Carl.
gone, and it was really sad, because he was the
I
best
know!
voice.
I know! All the best characters just disappear when their voices get fun to do.
Yeah, it's really
It's
awful.
really... I sound like Meowth. That's what I sound like, right?
I don't
From
know what
Pokemon?
that sounds like. Ask Shroomy.
I've actually never seen that show. I'm sorry, Shroomy. You could probably tell me if this is accurate or not.
Anyway.
I don't want to go back to the wizard.
Oh, frickin' wizard. Gah.
You gross
I don't want to
man.
listen to the wizard. Alright, it is 9. We
You
have...
are 9.
I thought
Why
it
are
was
you
12. My birthday soon.
Birthday.
Wait, what day is my birthday gonna be? It's gonna be, next stream is gonna be one day before my birthday.
Oh my god.
And then I'm gonna... And then I'm gonna vomit. Mobius vomited. All bodily functions are Mobius' fault.
I'm getting stuck like Cat.
Stuck?
Yeah, remember when she just got stuck laughing?
I don't.
What were you saying? It's 9? What were you saying it was 9?
Oh, I was just noting that it in fact was 9 o'clock, and I have a thing starting at 11 and going till 3 a.m. So we should probably stop after maybe another hour. I guess we can keep going. We could probably make it to the end here. We're at page 130 of maybe 150 that are actually written. We could probably make it through 20 more pages in 2 hours.
Maybe.
Let's finish this story tonight, perhaps. Yay. It's the wizard, though. I'm so
Ugh.
bored. So bored of the wizard. Honestly,
Frick you,
I
wizard.
don't want to read any more about the wizard. Let's see, how many sections have we got, and who are they of? Oh, 2 in a row with Ian and the wizard. Just lots of wizard, lots of... Oh. Another wizard! Is there no other perspective of anyone else yet in the rest of this? Because if so, I don't know if this is even worth reading. Yep, more Justice and Wizard and Ian and those boys.
Sorry, I'm making weird noises.
I really wanted
Kenzie.
Justice to end up with the whole voice, but Justice ended up as the yep.
I mean,
All
you
we
could,
have,
you could give him
literally,
that voice if you want.
all we have left is the yeah, that would make it easier to talk back and forth between Ian and, of course, also I guess we have the wizard who's me, Narble who's me, and then
you
we
can
have
switch depending on.
yeah,
It's like when
depending on
Ian
who's
had his alter
easier.
ego.
Yeah. So all we've got left is the boring story, the least interesting thing, the least interesting perspective is all we've got left. But yeah, hi Kenzie, welcome. I'm honestly, I don't know if it's really worth reading the rest of this because I know it just devolves more and more into chaos, and honestly, I don't remember really what it's about. All I remember distinctly is Ian did some weird like hiccup sewing to like make a leather like a hoodie for the trolls so that they could walk in sunshine without needing some kind of enchantment because it like blocks the sun for them or something.
Made a huge
And then they all
hoodie.
start walking from one town to another, and they literally store all the women and children inside that magical chest that stops
Oh,
time.
wow.
So they're literally just like, ah, yes, we will bring the entire population here, and they won't need food or anything. They're just like they're written out of the story now, and then the people who can fight will fight. And yep, they're just pocket people now.
Pocket frogs.
and then they just walk and they start going to another town, and maybe they get to another town. I don't think I wrote anything else with the other town yet. And then they start to begin their revolution, and there's a lot more notes after that point that kind of go into detail about like all the different things they're gonna do, and actually there's a lot more empty spaces that aren't written about, but that's kind of where it leaves off. And honestly, I don't know if I have the energy to bother reading. Like it's so boring from the Ian's perspective and the wizard and Narble and all those guys, right?
It kind of is.
Is it worth reading anymore?
But if we didn't read it, would it be possible for like one of us to like just skim through it off stream just to see if there's anything funny, and then next stream we could
that's
like,
a good
bring
idea.
it up?
That way we don't waste our
would you
time.
want
We could
to,
also...
go through the notes as well, and we could look at anything that's funny and not read anything that would embarrass you, because we could.
Sure. I mean, there's
through the rest of the
probably not
story
anything that would
and
embarrass me.
skim through the notes, and we can cherry pick the things that are actually worth looking at
Sure.
for next time.
Sure, sounds good to me.
Okay.
Alrighty. Well, I guess we're done with this then for now.
Yep, next stream we will finish up, I guess, with anything that's actually interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Because the wizard is stupid and I hate him.
The wizard. Just the whole thing with Edgetown. Just Edgetown doesn't need to exist for this story to be interesting. Everything interesting happens everywhere else.
Clyde Parker.
Clyde Parker! Oh man, my favorite character.
We need someone to write fan fiction of Clyde Parker.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we are fans. We can do it.
True.
I believe in us. I don't know what else to do for the rest of the stream, then I guess we can just call it quits here for now.
Yeah,
And then I will have 2 hours to prepare myself
to die.
for death, yes. Because I'm going to stay up late, and I've already had a very long and very stressful day.
Oh boy.
Lots of crazy things. I've solved so many problems and done so many different things today. My brain is like tired and headachy from doing voices and, you know, like solving programming problems and work and socializing and streaming and whew. What else did I do? I don't even remember. Lots of things. Lots of things. But yeah, Clyde Parker. Thanks all for coming out to the stream. I guess next one will be the last one, if there even is a next one, because maybe there won't be much
the last
even
one
worth.
Of this story, not the last stream ever.
Yes, I mean, unless we can't think of anything else to stream, because we've struggled to come up with topics of what to stream lately. I've kind of gotten bored of most of the games that I'm doing. Actually, I mean, I guess I could keep streaming doing Sea of Thieves stuff as we're setting out. Nah, it's probably not worth it. Whatever. But yeah, have a good night, everybody. God bless.
Have a good one.
Thanks for coming out. Don't get your Jesus lessons from my story. Get them from better places and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, good night. Love y'all. See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.